Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is the most disturbing videos on the internet today. Let's dive in.
We turn now to that remarkable scientific breakthrough. 13,000 years after the last direwolf walked the Earth, scientists say they've now brought them back. Here's our chief national correspondent Matt Gutman with the video tonight.
Tonight, a howl 13,000 years in the making. In a first for science, biotech company Colossal Biosciences says it brought the extinct direwolf back to life, a species that hasn't walked the Earth since the Stone Age.
The direwolf is the first de-extinct species.
Well known from HBO's hit show Game of Thrones, ABC News given exclusive access into Colossal's lab in Dallas, where scientists are using genes from gray wolves to create dire wolves.
We've taken a gray wolf genome, a gray wolf cell, which is already genetically 99.5% identical to dire wolves, and we've edited those cells at multiple places in its DNA sequence to contain the dire wolf version of the DNA. That animal looks like a dire wolf, it will behave like a dire wolf, and it is a dire wolf.
Now, 7 months old, dire wolves Romulus and Remus eating well and getting bigger every day. And David, the company tells us they're not stopping there. They plan to have woolly mammoths roaming the Earth again by 2028. But critics argue that this de-extinction could harm fragile ecosystems. David?
Yeah, the images are really something, Matt. Thank you.
What if they were trying to warn us on all those Jurassic Park movies that we were watching? How far does this technology go? What if they're bringing other things back to life, not just a woolly mammoth?
What do you have in your hand, and what are you going to be showing us?
If you want to know how big Goliath or maybe Adam and Eve were, let me show you.
They were huge. What did they eat? These videos are strictly for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe anything you hear or see. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button because we do these videos every single day. And I love to see you around here. Now let's get straight back into the action.
All the way out to about here. All the way out to about here. Probably 2 meters almost. But if I place this water barrier here, and then try to drop the tube, it goes out in about 1 meter. So this doesn't absorb all of the energy, but the water does absorb even the low frequencies significantly. And if we had the higher frequencies, this would be a complete protection. What's nice about that is that if you were potentially facing a microwave attack, if you just had a couple of water bottles and a towel, you could hold it in front of your face and you'd probably protect yourself from a weaponized microwave system. And if you're thinking, well, that'll protect my face, but not the rest of me, just get a beach towel, flood it with water, hold it up in front, and you could dance away. And all the way out to about here.
We need more people who get like him, man. It's Terminator's about to be afoot. We need some type of defense, some type of shield. I'm with you. What did he say? Water and towel? Thank you.
In a surprising turn of events, Kawasaki, widely known for its iconic green motorcycles, has taken a bold step beyond 2 wheels. The Japanese manufacturer recently introduced a new concept vehicle called Corio, a machine designed not only to traverse all terrains, but also to redefine the very idea of mobility. The unveiling took place at the Kansai International Exhibition in Osaka, drawing immediate attention from both tech enthusiasts and the general public. Corio is no ordinary vehicle. It's a 4-legged robotic machine, closely resembling creatures from fantasy films. The user rides it like a horse, but its movement is far more dynamic and lifelike. Observers at the exhibition noted that it moved with the agility of a panther or a dog, a clear indication that Kawasaki aims to merge robotic engineering with natural motion in a way that's never been done before. According to Kawasaki, Corio is designed to conquer all types of terrain, making it a versatile option for future mobility. It is even being described as a replacement for horses, with the ability to leap and adapt to rugged landscapes. This signals a significant departure from traditional off-road vehicles, suggesting a potential shift in how we view transportation in difficult environments. What powers this mechanical beast is even more intriguing. Corio runs on a hydrogen fuel cell, reinforcing Japan's growing trust in hydrogen as a clean and sustainable energy source. Kawasaki, along with other major Japanese companies, continues to explore the hydrogen frontier, aligning with the country's broader vision of a low-emission future. Japanese industrial leaders see Corio not just as a futuristic toy or conceptual experiment, but as a realistic vision of mobility in 2050. With the country already producing high-speed trains, aircraft engines, and ready-built factories, this robotic vehicle fits seamlessly into the portfolio of advanced engineering solutions aimed at the next generation. Kawasaki emphasizes that Corio isn't merely a fantasy drawn on a digital sketchpad. It represents a potential leap in transportation, particularly in sectors like defense, search and rescue, and remote exploration, areas where traditional vehicles may falter. The machine's autonomous capabilities and terrain versatility could give it the edge in a variety of critical use cases. As we look toward the future, Kawasaki's Corio may mark the beginning of a new era where motorcycles are no longer confined to wheels and roads. Instead, we may see a rise of mechanical animals that offer a more natural, flexible, and intelligent mode of transportation. Whether Corio becomes a common sight or remains a symbol of innovation, one thing is clear: the future of mobility is evolving, and Kawasaki is leading the charge.
What an excellent idea. Imagine going through hikes. You know, that would change the game for outdoor exploring. Man, I think it's an awesome idea. Until they get hacked by all these different AI and Terminators, and the next thing you see, Terminator's got his own horse now. Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
If you thought the pyramid scans in Egypt were shocking, wait until you hear what they just found under Angkor Wat. LiDAR scans have revealed a massive hidden network beneath Cambodia's most sacred temple. Not just tunnels, circuit-like formations, spiraling chambers, and sealed vaults of a design we've never seen before. But here's where it gets crazy. Angkor Wat isn't just a temple, it's a dormant machine. According to a suppressed set of translated Khmer inscriptions, the site was never meant for worship. It was grown, not built, by an ancient civilization called the Starborn Kings, who arrived not in ships, but as consciousness, traveling on solar winds, embedding their memories deep in Earth's magnetic field. In Angkor Wat, it was one of 4 resonance engines designed to activate during a cosmic alignment, alongside the Great Pyramid of Giza, Teotihuacan in Mexico, and a submerged site off the coast of India. Together, these temples would form an energy grid, a planetary-scale portal meant to awaken what sleeps below. Because buried beneath Angkor is more than stone. Deep under the central tower, LiDAR is picking up geometrically perfect vaults with materials modern science can't identify. And a constant rhythmic pulse, a signal like a heartbeat waiting to restart. Some say it's a genetic archive. Others say it's a stasis chamber. But the elite already know. Why do you think these scans are only now being released? Why are ancient tunnels being reburied after excavation? Because if the truth gets out, it will rewrite history, not just of Cambodia, but of humanity itself. If you thought the pyramid scans in Egypt were shocking,
I want to see LiDAR scans under all these temples now, and to be honest, the fact that it could be a giant machine, for what exactly?
How to sound like a tour pro when you strike the ball.
Shit, I've never heard a ball do that.
Holy. Look at that.
Broke it, right?
Speed bucket.
Holy shit. Did you hear that snap?
Yeah.
That is crazy, dude.
How to sound like a tour pro when you strike the ball.
Don't show anybody else that trick. We're going to have them thinking we're legends this summer.
There is a reason that mermaiding is considered a danger art, and I have the perfect example of what happened to me here in the Springs. On this day in particular, the current in the spring was super strong, and you can see right here, I get stuck underneath this log because the current pushed me over that direction. So in this situation, I am PADI Mermaid and PADI Freedive certified, and one of the things that they teach you is don't panic. I had enough composure on myself to go, okay, I can actually turn my fluke and get up. In this situation, there were a couple of different options. What I did was turning the fluke and getting up. The other one would be to tailbill, which I'm sure many of you have seen that viral video of what that is. Or I could have swam back underneath the log if I had enough breath hold, but it would have been a little difficult on this day because, as I said, the current being as strong as it was is what put me over in that situation. So, like I said, one of the big things to keep in mind is that when you're swimming out, whether it's in the springs or in the ocean, that's not a controlled environment. So you want to be very careful and make sure you do have a buddy system, as you can see here. And then we also had safety diver who was recording, and just making sure you stay calm. That's the biggest thing. But I did just post a video about mermaid tails and how to swim in them safely. So make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it already. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Until next time. Bye.
I get nervous every time I see one of those mermaid videos. You never know what's really about to happen. Thank goodness they're all right and practicing safe habits.
Can you describe to us what you saw that day?
Yeah, we were all outside. Someone actually came and got me because I was still inside. And there were maybe a half a dozen, to my recollection, lights that just hung in the air, didn't move. They definitely were not airplanes. And it just baffled all of us. And they hung on there for several minutes. Like I said, these people saw them when I was in the house. They came and got me, and I still stared outside what I believe would be over 10 minutes.
How big were they?
Well, they were quite in the distance from where I was at, and they appeared pretty large. But it's really hard for me to give a measurement, whether it was the size of a football field or 2 football fields, because they were so far off in the distance, but they were very large. I couldn't quite describe the shape because all you saw were the big bright lights in the sky.
When we finally got here and we realized this thing was coming right over us, we really started getting antsy. And then when it went directly overhead without a sound, it was like that. It was so big.
You couldn't even hear the wind. It was so quiet. It was just,
yeah.
It just didn't even do anything. It just came through.
It was a giant V, all right? And the right side of the V went over us. The left side was like a couple blocks over it.
You just didn't know what to do. You know, it was just like, my God, how big is this thing? It didn't seem threatening because when it was right overhead and we couldn't hear a sound, it was like you're just awestruck.
He said if he had a tennis ball, he could have hit it. He could have thrown a tennis ball at it. It was that close.
It was very close. I just could have nailed it.
Flashlight went right over my wife and I, and there was no light on the ground. But I could see up inside that it was almost like a recess, and it had fluorescent like light inside, like a gas light of some kind.
You could see right through the middle of it, but it was like looking through two-way glass, like through a mirage that you see on the highway or something, or just when it's real hot. Right there you can see through, but there was no light coming back or anything like that. It was just really weird.
As it went over, it went straight like through this V right there, over that guy's house.
It took about 15 minutes to get from when we first saw it all the way till we couldn't saw it.
We just re-experience it every time we tell it. You know, it's like it was just yesterday. You know, we've just never seen anything like it.
I was always a very polite skeptic. I would never tell someone, if they told me they saw something, I would never say, you're a liar or anything like that, because I don't know. But now I don't know what to think, because this is impossible.
It was awesome. I mean, we were telling ourselves not to blink.
It was very close to the ground. It was just like floating over the housetops.
I would gauge this object to be several football fields. I mean, like a mile, maybe more than a mile, maybe even 2 miles. It was huge.
The lights did not move relative to each other. Had they been in a formation of separate aircraft, there would have been a slight relative movement, I would have perceived, and they stayed pretty much just locked in position.
In it, and it stayed right on it. And what was extraordinary is that light went off and it came on again over a 20-minute period, and it did not move from that position because it stayed fixed in the scope. I have to tell you, I was really deeply impressed by the display that unfolded. As Jim came up to join me, we really were now together to witness a grand display of several orbs that were variously in a straight line, as if you could draw a ruler or lay a ruler end to end, lights going on and off in the same positions, and then ending up in a triangle as if to communicate a simple geometric based message.
And from her description of what happened, they did seem to move as a unit, and they were able to stop and hover.
Not only was it a very significant mass sighting, many investigators call it the largest sighting ever, lasting the longest amount of time, seen by the largest number of people.
They all can't be lying. For entertainment purposes only, don't believe everything you hear or see on this video.
Sure, you've all seen the Stargate series. That Stargate is real. I've seen it. Lincoln Labs.
Mm-hmm.
They had the original Stargate, you know, that big metal stone ring, was up at Lincoln Labs on the Air Force Base by MIT. When they first turned it on, this guy comes through the Stargate with 2 master CDs. It gets handed to the government. Now, why the government didn't bury it, I don't know. But the government then handed the Roland Emmerich and told him to use it in his movie Stargate. He was privileged to see the Stargate in operation also. And that's why if you watch that movie, first thing you'll notice, the action doesn't quite match the music. That's because they were matching the action to the music that they already had. Mm-hmm. Now, each piece of that music, each track, 1 through 24, represents the 24th gene pair genome, and that last 24th gene, that's altruism. Then from 25 to 30, that's like a fixative pattern of frequencies for different races of man. Number 30 happens to be ours, and I think number 27 is yours. You know, it's for the black race. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to go into any sort of segregation. I don't believe in that. You all have beautiful, lovable minds. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter where you have your sex organs. Everyone has a beautiful mind.
How was it that you got into the side of the frequency of the music, and how that was opening up doorways, portals?
Well, basically, at this point, I already had the connection to this character, Preston of the Future.
And this guy, Preston of the Future, would just literally walk into your 3D life here,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
like me, and you would recognize this person as Preston of the Future?
That's why I got his fingerprints, and I got some of the, you know, he bled. He got a cut, and I blotted it, and I sent that out, and it matched me perfectly. The fingerprints on the glass and the blood on the napkin matched me 100%.
And what future is he from? What year do you know?
I don't know. I don't think it's that far into the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like maybe another 30 years after whatever this big calamity that's coming is. I think he's from that time.
Is he older than you now?
No, he looks exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same. That tells me that yes, time travel becomes usable, and I probably do eventually succeed on age regression. Or it's a clone body, I don't know which, but basically, after playing the steel phonograph record with DARPA, and kibitzing with the general that, hey, what kind of a joke this is.
Sorry, where did you get the steel phonographic record from?
That supposedly came to me through DARPA from the Chaco Canyon caves. That was in the cave sitting on a pedestal with a little indentation in the rock with what looked like a phonograph cartridge. and the record had 20 pi on it. That's all it had on it. And I figured, okay, pi represents an RPM, rotation, so it's probably 20 times pi rotations, which comes out to 66 2/3 RPM. So I took a 78 turntable and slowed it down to 66, and Stargate music. Why the hell am I playing this?
Stargate, the movie, the TV serial.
No,
Series.
the movie.
Yes, the movie.
Local record shop, buy a copy of the Stargate CD. I use that to adjust the speed on the turntable and match it perfectly, and it matches perfectly. So I get very interested in this music. I'm sure you've all seen the Stargate series.
I haven't actually. I have to watch the Stargate series, and it sounds like he's saying the movie matched. Have you guys seen it? Do I start with the TV series first, or do I jump straight into the movies? Let me know in the comments.
I think this story is really interesting. So this is Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea, and a statue of him was erected in the ocean off the coast of Mexico. Well, first, the Mexican Environmental Protection Agency was like, I don't think you guys filed any permits, and they didn't. So that was problem number one. Problem two is the local Mayan indigenous communities were really upset. What does Greek mythology have to do with Mexican heritage and history? And Mayans worship their own god of water known as Chak. So they're like, why are you putting a competing god in our god's space? You're just really playing with fire here. The timing of these hurricanes and tropical storms is leaning very heavily into their theory that they have pissed off Chak. So Mexico took it down. Now, they didn't do this out of the goodness of their hearts, but they took it down. So keep speaking up.
Imagine you're a regular, you're going on a walk on a beach, and all of a sudden you see a Poseidon statue pop up in the middle at night. That would be terrifying.
Damn, young boy, you alright?
Oh, damn!
You been drinking on the job, yo?
I got your box.
Hi, you are currently being recorded.
Hello.
Nice dancing.
Oh. Hi, how you doing?
Run it, believe I got. Oh, yep, that was my shin. Oh, that was my shit. I slipped on the black eye. Oh, I gotta lay down, Lord. Oh, Lord, have mercy upon me. Oh, I should call Top Dog on this one. Ah.
Hey. Is it wrong?
He broke his pumpkins and paid for new ones. What a savage. But they do need to put that to the side, especially if they're making orders. It's only considerate and polite.
The voice print proves to be the best relayer of your frequency patterns. I believe on the soul level we exist as vibration, and coming into the physical, one way we demonstrate our vibratory level is through our voice. So by capturing the voice and transferring it into a language that we can now compare to atomic and molecular weights of the minerals and vitamins and substances that you're made of, to the planets as they transited as you were born, we then can get a very complete picture of your unique frequency pattern and what's happened to it. Everything that's happened to you is located in a waveform that can be measured and identified. Currently, we're only measuring 20 to 25,000 items in your voice print. There are much more, but it's enough to give us a very good picture of what's happened to your body. We're able to find that frequency, and because the program has converted that frequency in the voice, which would be in about the 400 hertz range, it's converted it to substances that may have been in the 4,000 hertz range down to the range of your brainwave levels. So that is where we bring all of our information to. What your body's communicating in, which are the brainwave levels. Interesting studies by Pelgrim done at Yale have demonstrated that your brain communicates to your body in Fourier transform mathematical equations, which is exactly what we use to translate your voice into a mathematical waveform we can measure, which corresponds, coincidentally, to atomic and molecular structure and elements existing in our universe.
With this sound and such, we're actually talking frequency. And what we're working with isn't just sound and auditory, but it's that too. It isn't just the magnetics and such, but it's that too. It isn't like the vibration and such, but we kind of combine everything in the sound therapy. One of the aspects of the program is a nutritional database that's unlike anything I've seen around the world. Well, I just looked up vitamin K1. We have over 22,000 different vitamins and drugs that are here in the database. Having this database, you can actually have something going on with you as may be seen in the voice. Bring up the database and find out information about that. In addition, we have listed on this side here all of the connections or all of the conditions that are related to that vitamin. In this case, vitamin K1 works with bleeding in blood and bone spurs, and the list goes on. And I think you can all see the X's right here that associate to the one that's highlighted over here. Next, what we've done is we've also pulled up a list of calcium database it has, is we can have all the vitamin K1 that you could need in your bloodstream. But if you don't have calcium going on, you actually won't have the vitamin K1 being active. It just can't be used without that. This box up here kind of talks in detail of why that's necessary, and it's all of this information is at your fingertips with the computer program, which we happen to call the Sound Assistant.
That's interesting, being able to detect all those different things from your voice print. And that looks like it was an old school software. I wonder where they're at now. If you made it this far, the code word is disturbing technology. Drop disturbing technology in the comments below so I know you made it this far. And I just want to say you're a real one, and I want to say thank you for your support. It means the world to me. This was the most disturbing videos on the internet today. See you tomorrow.